So as I said, I'm Derek Hammer. I'm a PERG council member and have been involved with that for 5 or 6 years now. I think some of you have seen me before at some of our meetings and such. I guess before I go any further, I should make sure to thank our sponsors. We have several annual sponsors at PERG. ARI, IntelliVent, and Taylor Associates support us throughout the entire year with generous donations that help make all of this stuff possible. We also have some event sponsors, Core SWX, Light Gear, NFP Insurance, and the Camera Division. This idea came up from a couple of customers of mine who were sending out requests via email that we would occasionally get for subrentals. And we thought that this would be a great little thing to add for members, and that members would benefit from this by sharing equipment back and forth and subrenting to one another for those times when you run up against something that is either hard to find, or maybe your customer wants you to get a bunch of them, whether it's, somebody wants 60 Sky Panel S60s, or they want 6 S360s and you don't have that many, or they want some special lenses that you don't necessarily have. So this is an opportunity for you to collaborate with our other members and do those sorts of things and benefit everyone, and kind of making it an added member benefit. Okay, so this is what the missingequipment.org is, the website, and we've added the subrental availability request here. So we're going to come back to this in a minute and show you how to use this. But first, you need to go up here, and if you're not logged in, you'll have to log in. I've already logged in for the day. So click on My Settings and scroll down. You'll see all of your standard company information, but we've added this little section down here called Subrental Availability Request. So you're going to want to make sure you select this checkbox if you want to receive these notifications. They're going to come to you via email. And then you're going to select which departments you want to receive requests for. So the person who's submitting this subrental availability request is going to select whether what they're asking for is camera, lighting, AV, or some mixture of those. By that selection, then it's going to determine by what you make here in this area what you're going to receive the emails for. And those emails are going to come to the email that you have listed here. So as you probably know, but maybe you don't, each individual in your organization can set this up and have their own little login and have their own preferences set here. So once you finish all of that, go down here and hit update. So if you're going to make a subrental request, this is where you would come first. So if I'm in need of some equipment and I don't have it and I need to get it, I'm going to enter. This auto populates with the information that's in your settings. When someone responds via email, it's going to come back to whatever email address or addresses separated by a semicolon are in this field right here. Some members had mentioned, I don't want a bunch of phone calls from everybody bugging me about this. I'd just like them to respond with an email or a quote. So you can choose whether you want your phone number to be put in this box or not. We need the equipment in our facility by this date. So you can click on the little calendar over here, and let's say I need the equipment here for Tuesday the 23rd. And the rental starts on the 24th. And then the client's going to get the equipment back to me on the 26th. And then because the 26th is a Friday, we're going to ship the equipment back to you, and you'll have it back by 30th. I'm just going to set this up so that it's all three for this one. And we're going to put in, let's see, I'm going to say that I'm in need of 6 ARI Sky Orbiter 365s, that I need 2 Fujinon MK 16 to 35s. And then I'm going to put in that I need 2, I don't know, AV equipment, but I'm going to 2 Barco projectilots. So you can obviously you can remove those items over here if you decide you don't want to. This is a very important section down here that bears a little bit of instruction and a little bit of discussion. This is where you could put some notes. We all know that all this stuff is not exactly straightforward sometimes, so you might have some special notes you need to put in here. We debated a lot about this section because the one very big outlier here is that, as it says in red, any mention of pricing is strictly forbidden by antitrust laws. That violators will receive 1 warning. Repeated violators will be removed from rental guard for 1 year. So you can't submit this because of antitrust laws. You cannot submit a subrental request and say, hey, I need a LightMap 4 Spectrum for $80 a week. Is anybody willing to do that? That you can't do that. And you can ask for bids, but that's the best that you can do there. So I'm going to put some text in here, paste it in, and it says this is a test. So when I send this out, everybody that's on this, which was an automatic opt-in, you're going to have to opt out of it if you don't want to get it. I'm going to do my little CAPTCHA thing here, and then I'm going to hit submit. There we go. So now everyone in our list should have gotten that. We go here, it says it was sent successfully and done. So that's really all there is to it. It's fairly simple. There we go. Okay, so there's the email that came out from the request that I submitted. So here are the notes. Here is what is wanted, the dates that I entered, and then it's going to say, please email the quote directly to the email address that was in that form that I filled out. Here is our location and phone number, and it says very specifically, please do not reply to this email. So if I'm getting that, I'm going to put together an email and say to this person and say, yes, we have these available. Maybe we don't have 2 Barco projectilots, but we have 6 Sky Orbiter 365s. We'll send those. Those are available. And if you maybe even just check in and say, here's a quote, or maybe I just check in and say, hey, we have them available. If you want me to get you a quote, let's start talking about what the details are. So it just opens up a conversation. One other thing I would say is that there are instructions. If you want to share these instructions with your folks at home, you can go to the instruction PDF. So you can print this and hand it out if you want to, or email it to your folks. Basically, all of the instructions, all the stuff that I just went through is contained here. Oh yeah. So one thing to note there, if you're on this today and your company is not a PERG member, you do have to be a PERG member company, in addition to having all of your settings, as I showed on that last screen, set up. We're going to open it up for some Q&A. So one of the questions was, can a rental company select other companies that should not receive a request? And unfortunately, that feature is not something we were able to build into this version. That's something I think we could put down as a future. But yes, I can see how that could be a concern. Okay, so someone asked, how are we able to receive the emails for equipment requests? So that's if we go up here to settings, that email address that's set up in your settings, and the fact that you checked on subrental availability request and any of these 3 and hit the update button down at the bottom, that's going to allow you to do that. So someone else asked, how do you know if you win a bid? This is meant to be a fairly simple system, and the idea is that once you receive an email, if you send out or if you're bidding on one of these things, you're just going to send the person who sent out the subrental availability request an email or a quote just like you normally would. So it just opens up the channel of communication for folks who might have something that's available and those who might need it, and give everyone the ability to subrent gear back and forth a little more efficiently. But it still doesn't sort of get around the whole process of you doing your traditional quoting and all of that stuff. Same for the same reason we can't talk about pricing. We also can't facilitate that kind of stuff on our website. So because of the antitrust laws. So you'll still be able to do that. You'll just have to do it as if you normally would. So someone else asked how many companies are on the list to receive requests right now. Yeah. So everyone is going to get, everyone who's a PERG member who has signed up on this website through missingequipment.org is going to get those requests, and is going to have to opt out if they decide they don't find it useful or don't want the extra emails each time that comes out. Then they'll have to log in and deselect those check boxes that I showed earlier. There is someone else asked, is there a list so that I can see who received the email? No, we can't provide that list of everyone that's a member. It just goes out to anyone who signed up, and then you'll get an email back from anyone who might have equipment who is interested in participating. Someone else asked, said it would be great to be able to define a more targeted region, just so you can find out who in your immediate geographic area might have an item available. That's something that we discussed, but again, was something that added another level of complexity to this. The reality is that when someone, if I'm sitting at my desk and I get a subrental availability request and I see that it's, I'm in Indianapolis and I see that it's someone in St. Louis who needs the thing, I know that's pretty close to me, and I'm going to jump on it and try to get them some help. If I see that it's someone in Seattle, I know that that's probably a pretty good chance that I'm not going to send SkyPanel 360 to Seattle for a job. So, I think there's a little bit of functionality there that we could possibly add in the future, but at this point we were trying to keep it as simple as possible. Because for a lot of the folks in camera, they're shipping stuff across the country, overnight shipping all the time anyway. Oh yeah, someone I mentioned, you could always put comments in the comments section about your geographic area, if that's some kind of a parameter that you want to detail out. Someone else asked me, can you talk more about why you can't discuss price or amount of build days per week in the notes? That's very, very simple. It would be against the antitrust laws to do so. So as a trade association, we cannot ever engage in discussions about pricing or marketing strategies or anything like that. And therefore, we couldn't allow something to happen via our website that would contribute to that. It would put all of us in a bad situation legally. Andrew, do we have the results of the poll up yet? Hey, everybody says they're going to use it, so that's great. 15 folks answered that poll, and everybody said they would try to take it, do some work with it. So that's great. I hope it's something that all of you can use. I thought it was something that would be useful to my company, and now I'm going to hand it all down to my rental agents as well. And I hope that all of you get a chance to make use of it. And I hope this is another added member benefit that we can provide to you to help make your investment in PERG more valuable and more worth your time. So thanks for being members, and thanks for listening to me drone on about all of this today. Yeah, and I guess that bears some thank you to Harry Box for making all this happen. This was an idea that I brought to Harry a number of months ago and said, hey, this is something I think we could do. Then I got really, really busy and wasn't able to jump in and help much with it. But Harry, with the help of the folks at CBS, our web developers, worked very hard with a committee of folks on the PERG Council to get all of this put together. Did a great job. Yeah, and someone commented here that in the question and answer session that I thought this is sort of where I was going with this too, was not a question, but rather a compliment. As members, I really like the idea of working amongst one another before going outside our quote unquote family for equipment that we're sourcing. We have to support each other before that. We just have to support one another. So that's really important, and I'm glad that everyone or some others feel the same way about it that I do. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up for the day. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. And reach out to Harry or me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks.